Hello everybody. It's that time of the year again where it's starting to get cold out and everybody's asking that age-old question. Should I warm up my car in the winter? And I'll be answering that utilizing my 2002 Acura TL-S. So there are already plenty of videos on YouTube answering this question, and you might be asking, why should I listen to this guy? Well, you're probably watching these videos wondering what's best for your vehicle and what can you do to make it last as long as possible. So what certifies me firstly is I live in a sub-zero winter climate with temperatures sometimes getting as low as negative 25 degrees Fahrenheit. And secondly, my car here has 310,000 miles with an all-original engine and transmission. No replacements, no rebuilds, or anything like that. And so I'm simply just going to be giving you my perspective on what I personally do to warm up my car in the winter. So the ultimate answer to the question without wasting any time is, if it's above freezing temperatures, that being 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius, you don't need to warm up your car. You can just start the car, put your seatbelt on, and take off. Otherwise, if it's below freezing temperatures, you're going to want to let your car warm up for about 30 seconds to 1 minute, depending on how cold it is. The colder it gets, you're going to want to let it warm up even longer. In the following clips, you'll see that at about 20 degrees, I only need to let the car warm up for 30 seconds. But as it progresses down to about negative 5 degrees Fahrenheit, it needs to warm up for about a whole 60 seconds. Regardless of how warm or cold it is, whether it be 90 degrees out or negative 9 degrees out, you always want to gently drive until your vehicle comes up to full operating temperature, because there's still a few hundred-degree difference between full operating temperature and cold starting your car even on a 90-degree day, let alone negative 9 degrees. So you definitely want to take it easy for the first couple miles until your vehicle is up to full operating temperature. One thing you can do to pretty significantly reduce the warm-up time for your car is to actually keep your climate control off while the vehicle is warming up. Or what you can also do is you can put the vehicle to full auto mode. And what this will do is it will put the fans on the lowest setting until the car is warmed up, and then it'll turn the heat on. So the reason for that is because when you have your fans on, it's blowing cold air on your heater core, which is also attached to the radiator and the engine. So if you have your fans off, it won't be blowing any air on the radiator and the heater core, and it'll ultimately cause your vehicle to warm up faster, which is the ultimate goal here. So what you'll want to do is wait for a day where it's about freezing temperatures, or maybe just a little bit warmer. So 29 degrees is good. And you'll want to start your car and find out what that base RPM line is. In my car, you'll notice that it's at about 1250 RPMs. Even on days all the way up to like 70 some degrees, it's still at about that 1200 RPM mark. It never really increases. But as it gets colder, below freezing temperatures, you'll notice the RPMs start to rise. So what I'll do is I'll wait for those RPMs to decrease from, say, 1750 RPMs all the way back down to that baseline of about 1250, and then I will start driving my car. We've got an idle of about 1250. Really no need to let the car idle. And again, just like 40 degrees, we can see it's still at about that 1250 mark, maybe just a little bit below, maybe 1200. And finally, 19 degrees. Now we can finally see the RPM starting to elevate just below the 1500 RPM mark. So what I would do is I would just let the engine idle for a couple seconds until we can see it's starting to gradually decrease in RPMs until we get to about 1250. And I'd say that's all we need to warm up. Just over the 1500 RPM mark. And already coming down a bit. Alright, I'd say that's good. About 1900 RPMs. So here's a chart of the warm-up times. Keep in mind, this is for my 18-year-old 2002 Acura TL-S. Newer cars are going to have much more advanced technology, more oxygen sensors, different air-fuel aspect ratios, etc., and will probably result in even faster warm-up times and different RPM responses to colder temperatures. Nonetheless, the main point I want to get across is you really only need to warm up your car for about 30 seconds to a minute in most below freezing temperatures, and this will apply to any modern day car that uses fuel injectors instead of carburetors. So I just want to make a couple final notes before ending the video. Firstly, I'm not necessarily saying who's right and who's wrong on this topic, but what I am saying is, as someone with a high mileage engine who lives in sub-zero temperatures, this is what I personally do to warm up my car in the winter, and you can feel free to take or leave my advice as you choose. Next, damage occurs when the car is cold, and the goal is to warm up the car to its 200°F operating temperature quickly. The initial minute or so of idling is enough to get the engine warmed up just enough and to get the oil and other fluids flowing, and then driving carefully for the first few miles after that will warm it up quickly the rest of the way. This will result in better fuel economy, less wear on the engine and exhaust components, and also, since the catalytic converter can't do its job when it's cold, warming up the vehicle faster will reduce the amount of harmful emissions into our environment as well. And lastly, if you live somewhere where you very frequently see temperatures below -20°F, you should probably invest in an engine block heater. The way an engine works is by burning fuel vapors, not straight liquid gasoline. So the colder the fuel gets, the less it can vaporize, and the harder it will be to start your car since fuel stops vaporizing at -45°F. An engine block heater will also be beneficial because it's during the initial warm-up in sub-zero temperatures where most damage occurs to an engine, since the oil is so thick and takes longer to flow through the engine to properly lubricate it. So I just want to say thanks for watching. I hope this video could be helpful coming from my perspective. Feel free to leave a comment or ask a question. I'm pretty good at getting back to people. So keep warm out there, have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next video.